Ever had your child burst in tears because you peeled their banana in the wrong way? Or because their socks suddenly feel too tight? You are not alone. Hi, I'm Alevtina, a mom with a background in psychology and brain science. On this channel, I break down powerful books that help us grow as a parents and professionals. Today, we are diving into the Whole Brain Child book, written by Dr. Dan Siegel and Dr. Payne Bryson, a book that helped me to make sense of emotional chaos and turn it into the connection. Stick around to the end, and I will share one simple trick to calm down a meltdown without yelling or giving in. Let's dive into it.
Tool 1. Your child's brain is still developing. The number one mindset shift. Your child's brain is still under construction. In The Whole Brain Child, the authors emphasize that a child's brain is not fully developed, and that this incomplete development explains many challenging behaviors. They outline 2 key ways the brain can become unintegrated, leading to emotional outbursts, irrational behavior, or shutdowns. 1. Left brain versus right brain. Left brain: logical, literal, linguistic, and linear. Loves order, facts, lists, and explanations. Right brain: emotional, holistic, nonverbal, and relational. Experiences and expresses emotion through facial expressions, tone, posture, and gut feelings. Young children are right brain dominant, especially during emotional moments. That's why trying to reason with them, left brain, during a tantrum often fails. They're not in a state to process logic. Key strategy: use right brain connection first, empathy, tone, physical comfort, and once they calm down, bring in left brain redirection. 2. Upstairs brain versus downstairs brain. Downstairs brain, brainstem and limbic system, controls basic functions like breathing and blinking, and reactive impulses like fight, flight, or freeze, fully developed at birth. Upstairs brain, prefrontal cortex and related areas, handles planning, decision-making, empathy, self-understanding, morality, and emotional regulation. Still developing throughout childhood and adolescence. When children flip their lid, it means the downstairs brain has taken over, and the upstairs brain has gone offline. Key strategy: parents can support integration by naming what's happening. That made you really mad, didn't it? Staying calm and helping the child re-engage the upstairs brain after the emotional storm passes. Integration equals the goal. The authors define integration as the ability to connect different parts of the brain, left plus right, upstairs plus downstairs, so they can work together. A well-integrated brain leads to better emotional balance, self-awareness, relationship skills, decision-making. When parents understand how the brain works, they can respond in ways that foster integration, instead of escalating disconnection. Your child hits their sibling out of frustration. Instead of jumping straight to punishment, you wait until they're calm. Then you say, "You were really angry. What else could you do next time when you feel like that?" This helps them reflect on their feelings, practice empathy, strengthen their upstairs brain, the part involved in impulse control, self-awareness, and decision-making. Tool 2. Name it to tame it. When a child experiences something upsetting or traumatic, like getting hurt or feeling scared, their right brain becomes dominant. That part of the brain is focused on emotion, nonverbal cues, and the felt sense of the experience. However, the left brain, which processes logic, words, and sequence, can help the child make sense of what happened. This process of making sense by telling a coherent story engages both hemispheres and creates integration. What name it to tame it means. This strategy encourages parents to help their child narrate what happened, even briefly, in order to calm the emotional chaos. The phrase, "name it to tame it," refers to the process of using language, a left brain function, to label and describe an emotional experience, a right brain event. Shown by doing this, children begin to make sense of what they feel and experience relief and regulation. Real example from the book. In the book, the authors describe a young boy named Sam who was terrified after being in a minor car accident. Even though he wasn't physically hurt, he continued to feel anxious and upset long after the event. Instead of dismissing his fear or distracting him, the authors recommend helping Sam retell the story of what happened, multiple times if necessary. Each time Sam tells the story, with the parents' gentle prompting, his brain makes new connections between the emotional memory, right brain, and the narrative explanation, left brain. This gradually reduces his fear and distress. How parents can use it. 1. Join the child in the emotional experience. Don't start with logic or solutions. Connect emotionally first, right brain to right brain. 2. Help the child tell the story of what happened. Use open-ended prompts like, what happened next? How did that make you feel? Then what did you do? 3. Repeat the story as needed. The brain processes meaning through repetition. Children may need to tell the story several times over days or weeks before feeling fully calm. Why it works. When children are overwhelmed, their right brain is flooded with emotion. Naming the experience helps engage the left brain, which brings in order, meaning, and language. And this left-right integration allows the child to feel understood, regain emotional balance, build their own narrative and resilience. This process isn't about correcting the child's behavior. It's about helping the child understand and integrate what happened so they can respond better in the future. Tool 3. Engage, don't enrage. In The Whole Brain Child, Dr. Siegel and Dr. Bryson introduced the strategy called Connect and Redirect as a way to deal with difficult moments, especially emotional outbursts or defiance. This strategy helps integrate the right and left hemispheres of the brain. What the authors say: when a child is upset, logic often won't work until we have responded to the right brain's emotional needs. This means that when a child is emotionally flooded, example during a meltdown, their right brain, which controls emotion, body language, and nonverbal cues, is running the show. Trying to reason, lecture, or explain left brain functions at that moment is ineffective because the child is not neurologically ready to receive that input. Step-by-step guide. 1. Step: connect emotionally first. Use nonverbal cues, empathy, and emotional attunement to acknowledge your child's feelings. Look into their eyes, use a calm, soothing voice. Reflect their feelings back to them. Example: you're so mad that your brother took your toy. That really hurt your feelings, didn't it? Step 2. Redirect with logic once they're calm. After emotional connection is established, gently guide them using logic, problem solving, or redirection. Example: let's take turns with the toy, and then we can both have fun. This approach helps the child feel heard first, which lowers emotional defenses. Once calm, they're ready to access their left brain, allowing them to think and act more rationally. Why lecturing doesn't work. When a parent starts with a left brain lecture, like, "You shouldn't act like that, use your words," why would you do that? The child's emotional brain can't process it. In fact, it may intensify the meltdown or cause them to shut down. Instead of feeling safe and understood, the child may feel invalidated or overwhelmed. Connect emotionally, right brain to right brain. Then, once the child is more in control and receptive, bring in the left brain. Approach this. Respects how the child's brain functions, encourages emotional intelligence, builds trust between parent and child. Tool 4. Teach when they're ready. In The Whole Brain Child, the authors explain that discipline should not be about punishment or controlling behavior through fear. Instead, discipline should be about teaching, helping children learn to reflect, regulate, and make better choices in the future. They define discipline as to teach, not to punish. This is based on their brain-based view of child development. Specifically, they describe the need to engage the upstairs brain, the part of the brain responsible for decision-making, emotional regulation, empathy, self-understanding, morality, planning for the future. The upstairs brain takes many years to fully mature, and kids need repeated experiences to help it develop. During a meltdown, a child's upstairs brain is not available. They're operating from the reactive downstairs brain. How to use discipline effectively. 1. Wait until your child is calm. You cannot engage the upstairs brain while the child is emotionally overwhelmed. First, help them regulate emotionally using connection or comfort. 2. Once calm, engage the upstairs brain. Ask reflective questions. Help the child understand what happened and how to respond differently next time. This strengthens upstairs brain circuits. Suggested questions from the book. What were you feeling when that happened? What could we do differently next time? What would help you make a better choice? What did you learn from this? Why this matters? When we teach our kids about their feelings and help them reflect on their behavior, we give them tools that build their capacity for emotional regulation and thoughtful decision-making. This process builds emotional intelligence, resilience, and moral reasoning, all upstairs brain functions. Punishment, on the other hand, tends to bypass reflection. It may temporarily stop behavior, but it doesn't teach skills for next time. Tool 5. Reconnect through play. The authors emphasize that play is not just entertainment for kids. It's a core part of brain integration and emotional connection. They write that playful parenting can be one of the most effective ways to connect with your child's right brain, the emotional, relational, and nonverbal side, especially when tensions are high or cooperation is low. A playful tone or a silly game can go a long way toward helping a child feel more connected, understood, and ready to cooperate. Why play works. Play activates the right brain, where emotional understanding and relationships are processed. And it helps reduce power struggles and disarms the reactive brain, especially the downstairs brain. It promotes integration by combining emotional experience with connection and shared meaning. When a parent uses humor, imagination, or games, they bypass defensiveness and invite the child into connection instead of confrontation. Practical tips. The authors give several examples of how to use play as a regulatory and relational tool, including using a silly voice or pretend role play. Example: the toothbrush becomes a superhero on a mission. Turning a routine into a race or challenge. Let's see who can put on shoes the fastest. Allowing the child to take the lead briefly. You be the boss and tell me what to do for 1 minute. These approaches reduce stress, invite cooperation, and help the child feel seen and safe. Example: if your child says, "I'm not getting in the car," instead of escalating, the book suggests the playful right brain approach like, "Wait, do you hear that? I think there's a tickle monster hiding in the car." This connects emotionally, engages imagination, and often melts resistance. Often, when we meet a child's resistance with playfulness, it allows us to move through a potential power struggle and back into connection. Even a few minutes matter. The book encourages daily moments of undivided attention and playful interaction, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. These moments build brain integration, strengthen the parent-child bond, improve cooperation over time. Bonus tip: be the calm in their storm. When your child is overwhelmed, they don't need a lecture. They need you, calm, close, and steady. Sit beside them. Say nothing, offer a hand. Just breath. You're saying, "You're safe, I'm here, we'll get through this." This is called co-regulation, and it's the foundation of emotional resilience. You don't have to be a perfect parent, just a present one. The whole brain child gives us a better way to respond, connect, and raise emotionally strong kids. Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these tools will you try this week? Comment below, I read everyone. If you found this video helpful, like it, subscribe to Book Bites Club, and share it with a parent who needs a little less chaos and a little more calm. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.